The Tabak Division's heroism started and established on 05 May 1936 as the first regular division of the Philippine Army, led by Brigadier General Guillermo B. Francisco, that was stationed at Camp Morphy, which is now Camp Aguinaldo in Quezon City, Rizal, or in Metro Manila. In year 1941 to 1942, under Brigadier General Fidel V. Segundo, the unit was sent to Bataan to augment the United States Army in the Far East military forces led by General Douglas MacArthur against the Imperial Japanese troops led by General Masaharu Huma. After the Battle of Bataan on April 9, 1942, the local forces of the 1st Regular Division joined the infamous death march from Marivilas, Bataan to Camp O'Donnell, Capas, Tarlac. The unit was then deactivated at the end of World War II after the surrender of Japanese Imperial Army to the Allied forces in year 1945. The division was formally reactivated on October 1, 1957 under the command of Brigadier General Tirso G. Fajardo as a combat-ready division of the Philippine Army, absorbing 25 battalion combat teams that carried the brunt of anti-hook campaign in the 1950s and just in time for the Philippine Army's final offensive in the Central Luzon region against the Hukbong Mapagpalayan ng Bayan in the late 1950s while it was stationed at Fort Magsaysay, Nueva Ecija. The unit continued its anti-insurgency campaign in the Central Luzon and Cagayan Valley until the 1960s. By the middle part of the 1970s, the escalation of the Southern Philippines conflict began to stalk the blueprint of progress and blur the vision of a reborn nation. Sulu and Basilan were then placed into the area of responsibility of the 1st Infantry Tabak Division to solve the problem and unify all military units operating in the area. Its headquarters was located at Busbus, Patikul, Sulu. The 1st Infantry Division Philippine Army, also known as the Tabak Division, after years on various areas in the country, was transferred in Dao, Pagadian City on August 1987. It was then transferred and opened its headquarters at Barangay Pulacan, Labangan, Zamboanga del Sur on December 4, 1989. The camp today was named in honor of late Major Cesar Sangan, who died fighting the superior number of MNLF forces in Barangay Malaning, Labangan, Zamboanga del Sur last March 23, 1973. Peace campaign in South continued in year 1990s. However, on April 4, 1995, 200 Abu Sayyaf militants fired upon residents, strapped civilian homes, plundered banks, took up 30 hostages, and burned the town of Ipil, Zamboanga, Sibugay. The division's campaign against the secessionist group ignited in year 2000 when the administration of President Joseph Estrada advocated a hard stance, directing the armed forces of the Philippines to go all-out war against the MLF when they invaded the town of Causwagan, Llano del Norte, and took hundreds of residents as hostage. On November 2001, the division confronted the Miswari breakaway group during the Kabatangan crisis. The incident was not purely tactical. It involved political decisions, considering that the MNLF had existing peace agreement with the government. However, the Task Force Zamboanga 190 troopers displayed a daring and courageous offensives, capturing the Kabatangan complex against the Miswari breakaway group. It was in year 2003 when campaign against all enemies of the state and significant campaign plans were implemented. The activation of Joint Task Force Tabak also resulted into valuable accomplishments where the 1st Infantry Tabak Division had once again demonstrated its reputation as the fightingest division of the Philippine Army. On September 9, 2013, close to 500 members of RUG MNLF elements under the Sulu State Revolutionary Command, led by Ustads Javier Malik and Kahida Jibon, whose group continues to recognize Nur Miswari as MNLF chairman, attacked Zamboanga City. Government troops fought back for 20 days, rescued hostages, and expelled the RUG MNLF forces away from the city. On May 23, 2017, the division then faced another challenging situation when the conflicts in Marawi City began. The troops, together with other government forces, fought against the Daesh-inspired and Maote terrorist group led by Isnilon Hapilon. The death of the militant leaders Omar Maute and Isnilon Hapilon made President Duterte declare that Marawi was liberated from terrorist influence.
I hereby declare Marawi City liberated from the terrorist influence that marks the beginning of rehabilitation of the
Today, the Tabak Division is led by Major General Hiniroso Jean M. Ponyo, a former Marawi liberator. Despite its continuous, relentless, and selfless service, the unit is still challenged by different threat groups in the area of operation. Also in year 2020, the division was also tested its resiliency against the invisible COVID-19 virus. In the face of all the challenges, the Tabak Division, after 85 years of noble and gallant service in various areas of the country, and with its dauntless history molded by its forefathers, whom others sacrificed their lives just to attain the long and lasting peace, will always remain steadfast and dedicated to serve the people and secure the land. This is your 1st Infantry Tabak Division, 85 taong kabayanihan at kung pusong paglilingkod sa mamamayan, kagitingan sa pagtatanggol sa bayan.